Hi there mate, how's it going? It's Benja here, and this is a breakdown and review of Yellowstone Season 5 Episode 8 titled A Knife and No Coin. The impeachment storyline is at the center of Episode 8, which is the mid-season finale. While Jamie delivers his motion to set up a Senate tribunal seeking impeachment, Jon pays a visit to the Broken Rock Reservation to publicly support Rainwater's fight against the pipeline plans. Jamie's speech is about how Jon's actions dragged the state to litigation because of damages, and even though Jamie can't point to a specific code or conduct violation, sometimes conjecture is all you need to get started. Representatives will think that if Jon's son is willing to stand up to his father after publicly supporting him during the campaign, this must be serious and worth looking into. So the Assembly votes 67 to 33 in favor of setting up the first ever impeachment tribunal in the history of Montana, and after looking into Jamie's allegations, they'll decide whether or not to impeach Jon. The news of Jamie's shenanigans travel fast. Journalists at the pipeline event start asking Jon about it, which takes the spotlight away from Rainwater, who's now going to be in an even tougher spot because this publicity event protesting the pipeline plan won't get any publicity. Beth finds out about what Jamie's done from Summer. They get their usual insults out of the way first, and then Beth watches Jamie's speech on Summer's laptop. At night, Beth goes to Jamie's place, and he doesn't answer the door, so of course Beth picks up a rock and blasts her way in. Jamie tries to get her to leave, but she slams his head with the rock. Beth urges him to resign if he doesn't want his infamous photo published, which Beth took when Jamie was dumping his biological father Garrett's body. And at last, Jamie does the reasonable thing, the thing he should have done at the end of Season 4. He calls Beth's bluff, because exposing that location would be the end of the Dutton family, not just Jamie's. In fact, we have a flashback at the start of this episode showing young Rip and young Lloyd dumping Rowdy's body at that location, and afterward, Jon gives Rip a choice. He could belong to the ranch forever by getting branded, or he could leave to the train station. This is like becoming a made man in the mafia, and we all know which decision Rip made. Back to the present, Beth didn't know about the train station up until this point. She saw Jamie dumping a body at that location, but she had no idea that Jon and Rip have been using the same spot for years. She realizes now that she's got nothing on Jamie. Jamie then talks about how the airport project was the only option to monetize the ranch, and how the cattle business will cause them to lose the ranch. He says he's trying to make sure that the ranch is passed down to Casey's son Tate and his own son Jamie Jr. Quote, "That is the promise that I made, and that is the promise I'm gonna keep. The greatest threat to that ranch is our father, and you know that too, so I will remove the threat." End quote. This is when Sarah walks downstairs and Beth asks her if she's enjoying her marionette, and Sarah goes, "Every inch of him," which was a decent comeback. Jamie insists that the war is over, but Beth believes it is just beginning. She then visits her father, who was watching the news about Wolfgate, so when it rains it pours. That scandal is another problem for him now. She asks him about the train station, and he explains by saying that it's the trash can for everyone who's attacked them. It's a county in Wyoming with a population of 0, so in theory, it is a jurisdictional dead zone because they can't convene a jury of your peers. Their conversation concludes with Beth suggesting that they take Jamie there to solve this problem once and for all, and we don't hear Jon's answer, but in the meantime, Jamie knows what Beth will want to do, so he wants to play offense himself. He doesn't want to just wait around and play defense. He asks Sarah if she knows any companies that can handle this sort of work, and apparently she does. They're professionals and they'll make it look like a natural death or an accident, not a hit job. So Jamie is definitely going after Beth, but Sarah insinuates that they should maybe go after Jon too. And she doesn't say that explicitly, but I'm pretty sure that's what she's talking about, and Jamie agrees. It's finally happened. Everyone's guns are drawn and they're getting ready to go to war. I'm saying that because I don't think this Jamie storyline should have lasted this long. We should have gotten to this point in Season 4 in my opinion, because a 3-season setup for this conflict was already more than enough, but I can't complain too much because I like their direction. Jamie's potential has been unlocked by Sarah, doesn't matter if she's using him or not. What matters is, Jamie is actually an intimidating threat now, and his justification for his actions sounds reasonable. His motive is clear, and you could make the argument that he is in the right because his enemies are no better than him, and in fact they made him the man he is today. I'm not sure if I would make that case, but it can be made, which is a sign of good writing in my opinion. It allows you to root for one side or the other with solid arguments. And I think this is a natural breakpoint in the season, so I like how the first part of the season concludes and what it sets up for part 2. That said, we aren't done yet. We gotta rewind and talk about some scenes from the ranch. Rip and all the other cowboys are loading up half the herd onto trucks for their journey down south, and Monica is watching them as John approaches her. She thanks him for his words during the funeral of baby John, saying how much that has helped her, and then John has something to ask of her. With his busy schedule in Helena, and with Rip going to the Panhandle, John needs someone to run the ranch, and that someone is Casey. Monica is okay with that, and she says all John ever had to do was just ask, which until now he hasn't done. John then goes over to Casey and talks to him about this. Casey says he's gotta talk to Monica, and John hugs his son and says he loves him before leaving. This was a really touching moment because it's rare. We don't see John expressing his affection in this way, but at this moment, because he knew he could rely on Casey, he felt like showing his love. Monica and Casey talk afterward. They agree to check out the home at East Camp and move there. Casey is a bit hesitant because in his vision at the end of season 4 he had to choose between Monica and this place, meaning the ranch, but Monica says maybe the East Camp location is a compromise, so Casey is moving back to the ranch. Carter in the meantime continues to hang out with the girl he met at the branding. Teeter tells Colby she loves him before leaving for the Panhandle, and she gets on her way with Walker, Jake, Rip, and Ryan. We also check in on Jimmy, who's living his best life at the Four Sixes Ranch with Emily, and he'll probably help out the Yellowstone cowboys once they get there. The first half of season 5 was a return to the Yellowstone I immensely enjoyed, following a frankly garbage season 4 and a mediocre season 3. The pace this season is a lot slower than the previous one, but I believe the storylines are better thought out and written. There's not too much action for action's sake, and the show focuses on the main storylines a lot more. Also, I know that not everybody wants to see ranching and scenery shots and horse sequences, but I am here for those all day, every day. And when you combine those with the political elements of this season and Jamie's much better arc, there isn't much I can complain about other than summer. Talking of summer, season 5 will return in the summer with the final 6 episodes, so we have a massive break ahead of us, but I'm still covering 1923, a Yellowstone prequel, so be sure to tune in to those videos, leave your mid-season finale comments down below, like the video if you've enjoyed this breakdown, and subscribe for more movie reviews and TV show breakdowns. That is it for now, take care and see you in the next video.